Welcome back to Band Space. In this lesson, we're going to start talking about how to assemble the saxophone. We will start with the mouthpiece and the neck, but before we do that, we got to put some cork grease on our neck. As you remember, this is the neck. This neck has cork, and we have to put cork grease on it. The cork grease goes on the cork of the neck and helps the mouthpiece slide on easier. The cork grease looks like chapstick or lipstick, but trust me when I say it is not. You want to take the cap off and twist just a little bit to get a little bit of cork grease out. A little bit goes a long way. You just want to put a little bit of cork grease on, just enough to make it easier for the mouthpiece to slide better on the neck. Once we have the cork grease applied, we're going to take the mouthpiece, ligature, and reed apart. First, we'll take off the cap. Once again, the cap helps protect the mouthpiece when it has a reed on it. Then we're going to take off the ligature from the mouthpiece. You're going to notice on the mouthpiece that there's a very flat side with an opening. This flat side is called a table. This opening here is where the neck goes. So we're going to take the neck and the mouthpiece and slowly twist these together. Slowly twisting until it looks like this. The ligature has two ends to it. There's a bigger end and a slightly smaller end. When you go to put the ligature on the mouthpiece, it'll only fit one way. That way fits, this way does not. If it looks like this, it's not right. Correct? Incorrect. We now have the ligature, mouthpiece, and neck assembled, ready for the reed. The reed is made from a plant from the grass family, most commonly referred to as giant cane. There is a curved part to the reed, and then there is a flat part to the reed. Generally, the flat part has writing on it. This is called the table of the reed, the flat part, and this is the table of the mouthpiece, and that's where these two are going to go together. There is a heel to the reed, and then there is a tip to the reed. The tip is the real thin part. If you hold it up to a light, you can see through the reed. When I look at the bottom of it, the heel, you can't see through it. This is the part that we don't want to touch. This part is very fragile and it will chip and break. And over time, it's going to wear out and you're going to have to replace it. The reed works best when it is wet. And there's a couple of ways of doing this. You can put the reed in a cup of water, or you can just use your mouth to moisten the reed. I use the mouth. Once your reed is wet, we're ready to apply it to the mouthpiece. What I like to do is to take the mouthpiece and put it in one hand with the ligature on. I'm going to push the ligature up with my thumb, and I'm going to take the heel of the reed and I'm going to slide it in to the top. And I'm going to open up the ligature a little bit by unscrewing the ligature, and I'm going to bring it down with my thumb. I'm going to get my reed positioned on my mouthpiece so that the tip of the reed is even with the tip of the mouthpiece. And then I'm going to use the rails of the reed, that's either side of the reed, to the rails of the mouthpiece. And you're going to try to get it as perfect as possible. The more perfect this is, the better your sound is going to be. Sometimes it's easy to see if everything is lined up by putting it up to a light source. And then you can see the tip of the reed and the tip of the mouthpiece. And your goal is to get it as close to as perfect as possible. On my ligature, the screws go on the bottom. They go on the bottom of the mouthpiece. Some ligatures are inverted where the screws will go on the top. If you get confused, just ask your band director or private lesson instructor. The ligature is made out of a real thin metal, and the more you tighten it, the more it's going to stretch. So it just needs to be snug. It doesn't need to be over tightened. It will actually tear. Once we have the reed and the ligature and the mouthpiece on the neck, we're ready to move on to the next step. So next time on Band Space, we're going to be making sounds on our neck and our mouthpiece, and we're hoping to make it sound something like this. So we'll see you guys next time. See ya.